here in the area are going to do that. And of course, I have access to those lenders, so they all just kind of quivered when I mentioned the home path renovation. So it's obviously not a good program for them to deal with.
So if you opted to just want to buy it with the home path program, it probably wouldn't qualify because it's in such terrible shape.
Well, I mean, once again, they don't have an appraiser. Okay, it's just your own inspection company goes out and looks at it. So you've got to, there are certain things that they won't blink an eye at. But obviously, foundation caving in is one of those that they'll probably take a closer look at. Yeah. Mold's another one. Those kind of things. Okay, so don't necessarily write it off because a home needs work. Okay, if it has structural issues, it has safety issues. That's the main thing, safety issues.
Yeah.
Then they're gonna take a closer look at it.
Well, I thought, and you told me on that too, that a lot of times that the selling agent would have probably had bids, correct? I remember you telling me that.
On the renovation, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. To get her fixed up.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that will come from the FHA or the
Fannie Mae.
Fannie Mae appraisal.
On the renovation, yeah.
Because what they'll do, they'll go in there, they'll send their appraiser, since they dictate, I mean, there's no official appraisal because they've already done one, but they do an appraisal, they take a look at the home, what it's worth in its current condition, what it would be worth if it was fixed up, how much the repairs are going to cost to fix it up, have all that stuff documented and detailed out, and then so when you go in, you say, yeah, I like that house, you negotiate the price, and then you work through, hey, we think it needs $30,000 worth of stuff done to the property. You just bought it for $100. We're going to loan you $130. You take that additional $30, go get it fixed up, and you got a loan of $130,000.
Right, and those are typical renovation programs, and you still can find those, just not through Home Path.
Okay,
that's the key.
yeah.
Okay, those
So
are the ones that are.
That's the difference.
Right. The FHA has a fixer-upper program. Where you take the money, put $30,000 for repairs, you put that in an escrow account. When the foundation guy gets done with his work, he gets paid out of the escrow account.
That's the 203K program,
Yes.
right?
So the home path, I won't even appraise it.
You do not need an appraisal on a home path because they just go off of the value that Fannie Mae has set forth on the website.
Oh.
That's the value of the home as far as they're concerned. So you don't need
They're
to.
going off other comps in that area. Or?
They probably do, but I think it's also going to be, probably a little less than that given the property is foreclosed on as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure their formula, but I'm sure it's going to be, very conservative for the type of house it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
They just want it gone.
Yeah,
Right.
they want these.
They're going to set that price. If market value is here, they're going to set it just under it because they want that thing to go away.
Right. They want it gone.
I got to get it off their books. So, questions, comments, concerns for Mr. Scott on FHA VA Home Path?
Really good.
Yeah, tons of
Really
information.
helpful.
Well, very helpful.
Are you smarter now, Sherry?
I am
I'm
so much
smarter now.
smarter.
That's nice.
And I think the one thing to remember is that what I'm telling you today, I could go back and get an FHA mortgagee letter from HUD, and this could be changed.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, it is such a fluid market that just continue to check with me or run scenarios by me on a case-by-case basis, and we'll see which program they qualify best. Okay? Like Corey was saying, it's not, it's good that you guys understand the basics, but even I'm on the phone with underwriters all the time, okay? Because I'm unclear on things and how they're going to interpret information. So I think it's important that, you communicate to me and we communicate to underwriters to make sure that there are no foul-ups, okay? Because the most hated thing in the world is last-minute problems on purchase transactions.
So are we going to do conventional?
We're going to do conventional next week, I think.
Yes.
Good.
That's on the agenda for next week.
Terrific.
Okay.
Anything else that people would like to see in terms
Yeah,
of
you guys have questions
financing?
about anything else? I mean, I can cover. Just give me a little time to put something together. I can really cover any topics you guys want to cover.
I mean, a lot of agents have questions because they come to me with them about owner financing. Can you explain that, or is that something that?
Well, I mean, owner financing to me is just
Well,
Basically, the owner writes the mortgage on the house and gets it recorded.
correct. And so you,
Title transfers to the buyer,
Yeah.
and the say I'm the buyer, he's the seller, the owner of the property. I come to Scott. Scott, I really like your property, but I need you to owner finance it. And you go, okay, I've got the cash to do that. So we write a contract, sales contract. It proceeds like normal.
No middleman.
No middleman. I then write my monthly mortgage payments to Scott Kiesling LLC or whatever he tells me to write it. And he's the bank, but I have title to the property. He's the first lien holder on the property, right? Just like a first mortgage.
Right, and just so you know, first lien holder is important to remember because if I'm the first lien holder, that means if I had a mortgage on the house previously, that has to be paid off. Okay, and I've run into that in situations where the owner of the home, the seller, it's like, well, I'll just owner finance it. Well, you owe $120,000 on a $200,000 house. How are you going to owner finance it?
So it has to be paid off.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're going to have to pay off U.S. Bank the $120,000 mortgage you currently have, so that you can be first lien holder.
Yeah.
Okay.
is that similar to contract for deed?
Well, I'm not really. Contract for deed is, from the way I interpret contract for deed, and this is probably more your area, is that the owner is not owner financing. Okay, contract for deed is more, we're making an agreement to transfer or to buy the home for you to get financing at a later time.
That is absolutely correct. Same scenario, he's the seller owner, I'm the buyer. I come to Scott and say, Scott, I want to buy that house that you've got, but I want to do a contract for deed. So we write out, and it's a special contract, we write out the contract. He does not have to pay off his Bank of America loan or U.S. Bank loan, whatever he's talking about.
Okay.
He keeps making that payment. I start making payments to him. He retains title to the property. So the big difference is who holds title to the property between contract for deed
Right.
and owner finance. And owner finance, who holds property, the title? The buyer does.
Buyer.
In a contract for deed, the seller does. He's still, so if you're representing a buyer, what's the best option for your buyer client?
Owner finance.
Owner finance, because your buyer takes title to the
But if the
property.
owner doesn't own it, he can't do owner finance.
Correct.
If he
Correct.
doesn't own it free and clear.
He doesn't own it free and
If there's
clear.
other liens or encumbrances on the property, they have to be cleared first before you can.
Yep.
But on contract for deed, the bank doesn't have to be notified or?
No.
No,
No, because it's the same thing as like maybe a lease purchase.
lease purchase.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
I would
very
agree with-
similar to that.
And if you do a contract for deed, that is something the title company can draw out those documents.
Yeah.
That's who you want to have
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you always want to, on any of those transactions, lease purchase, whatever, you always want to get those documents drawn up front. Okay, you don't want to just say, hey, go ahead and lease it and then we'll worry about buying it later. You want to record, or not, but you want to have it notarized, the lease purchase agreement at the time it's drawn up. Okay, because there are certain items that we're going to look at on a lease purchase, and number one is, how long has the agreement been in place? Well, if you come to me with a lease purchase on fresh paper and fresh signatures that says it was dated 2 years ago, you know there's going to be issues. So always go ahead and get that stuff done up front. Okay, get it notarized, get it dated, get it in place.
Now, the contract for deed filed, didn't it?
No, do they record them?
They
No.
don't record
No.
it?
Because
What?
there's no transfer of
There's
title.
no transfer.
Title,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and now that obviously, a contract for deed is better for which party?
The seller.
The seller. Because they get the money coming in and they keep title of the property.
So if you quit
So-
paying,
Yeah, if you quit paying, you're out.
right.
So what about owner finance? If the buyer quits?
Buyer
Yeah,
quits paying,
okay, but they own title.
he goes and forecloses on
Yeah.
it, just like a bank would.
There's a lot of risk at owner financing.
There is.
Yeah. So really, the owner's still losing out on the buyer.
If he's
seems
not able
like
to
it.
foreclose, you know. But if let's say if somebody wants to owner finance, I mean, first of all, you better get a substantial down payment.
You want money down.
Yes, substantial. I mean, if you have a $300,000 house, the guy goes, "I'm going to give you half down, but I need you to owner finance."
That's
You're hoping that guy forecloses.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you get
Because
the
all of a
house
sudden-
and you got us 150 grand.
Yeah,
okay.
But how do you acquire the house back?
you go through a foreclosure process.
Okay,
Which means you go to the court, you
okay.
You go
So
through
it costs
the-
you money.
oh yeah, I mean, there's going to be
Money.
there's going to be fees involved. I mean,
Okay.
it's a risky proposition going owner financing.
Yeah.
Hey, let me throw something else out. You want to do a lease purchase and you want to go FHA. What is the minimum amount of time that you have to be in the house before you can get the FHA loan?
That's a good